Now, proof of human ingenuity at home, building robots. In the world of science fiction, the robot replaces man. But in the world of science and technology, that's the real world, the robot is just a device that challenges man and propels him to new heights, young men and young women anyway, whose gateway to this real world is robotic.
Hold this, somebody. Hold this.
It's the first round of the semifinals at the Colorado Regional First Robotics Competition.
Do we have another key or anything else?
The members of Team 159, Alpine Robotics from Poudre High School in Fort Collins, are scrambling to fix their broken robot.
And so we just need to put it back in. A key that's connecting shaft to pulley. It looks like it's broken in about 4 pieces.
Officials warned the team that they had just a few minutes to make repairs or be replaced by another team.
You guys aren't gonna make it? You're not gonna make it? Okay, sorry, guys.
They couldn't do it and were out of the competition. Team captain Nick Hobbs showed one of his coaches the problem.
That's what fell out. So we can't drive.
The $1,000 robot had been stopped cold when a key that cost about a nickel fell into the drivetrain. It was heartbreaking, but learning to deal with breakdowns like this is exactly what FIRST is all about.
That'll give the Blue Alliance the 10-point bonus.
FIRST, which stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, was the brainchild of Dean Kamen, an inventor perhaps best known for developing the Segway scooter.
The skills these kids learn when they participate in FIRST give them career opportunities. Do you want to be an electrical engineer, physicist? Do you want to do proteomics or genomics or nanotechnology? What exciting career do you want to go into? We're helping you make that option possible. So who wins the points is somewhat incidental in our game.
He says this country is facing a crisis because not enough American kids are pursuing careers in science and technology.
In this country, we have kids who think what they want to excel at is football or basketball. I think the balance is so distorted that it literally leaves our country at the risk of losing its position in leadership, in technology, and as a consequence of that, we will lose our position of leadership in quality of life, standard of living, security, health care, and all the other things that Americans somehow take for granted. And we've got to change kids' attitudes fast.
His concerns are shared by U.S. Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez, who spoke at FIRST's national competition in Atlanta. He, too, said the rest of the world is going to surpass the United States in the field of technology unless more young people become interested in science.
We have 3 billion new competitors. So whatever we've been doing for the past 20, 50, 100, 200 years, we have to step it up. We've got to grow it. We have to increase the pace. We have to step up our level of innovation, our level of invention, our level of creativity like we have never done before. This is the future. This is what our future is all about. And you are leading the way. You are a great example for citizens all over the country. You are role models of what we want to be as a nation in the future.
Dean Kamen himself is a role model for thousands of young people. He has a long history of working on projects that really make a difference for others. He demonstrated his iBot wheelchair at his workshop in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's an amazing device which can go over curbs or rough terrain, and even climb stairs.
If I wanted to climb this flight of stairs, I would pick an icon that puts me literally into a stair mode. I'll raise my wheels to get them out of the way. I'll tip the seat back so that the weight comes over the rear wheel. And then one by one, these wheels will cluster over the top, and I'm climbing a flight of stairs. I just climbed a flight of stairs. Now, if you were a disabled person, every flight of stairs you look at might as well be the bars on a cell. Every flight of stairs, every curb you see tells you, I can't go there.
He's most proud of the fact that this wheelchair can also balance on two wheels and elevate the person to eye level with people who are standing.
I think the fact that people can look their colleagues in the eye is incredibly important. I mean, it's part of our language. Look them in the eye, stand on your own 2 feet, taking our first steps. When people lose the ability to stand up and walk, mobility is only a small piece of what they lose. They lose the ability to interact as adults have come to do. It's about dignity as much as it's about mobility.
Cayman's latest project is developing 2 machines that could be used in remote areas of third world countries. The first is a water purifier, about the size of a washing machine.
It will supply a village of about 100 people. It makes 1,000 liters of pure water a day from any source water, including a local latrine or a chemical waste site. It doesn't need filters or disposables or chemicals.
How difficult is it to operate that machine?
Well, we have a joke around here. In fact, I made up a 1-page instruction sheet for it, which tells you just how easy it is to operate. Because here's my instruction sheet, and it says, instructions for use. Just add water. Any water, really. And step 2 is to see step 1.
The second is a small generator.
This device, one nearly identical to it, has run 2 villages in Bangladesh, each for about 14 weeks, supplying enough electricity so that every family in each village had a light bulb at night, a nice efficient light, communication, computer, a couple of small refrigerators for things like vaccines. And for the entire time that it ran those villages and electrified them, the fuel it used was local cow dung. There was a pit next to this device. They would throw dung in there, and it would generate methane gas. It's the crudest and simplest of all bioreactors.
Cayman hopes the water purifiers will be installed in some villages by the end of this year. His biggest problem is figuring out how to manufacture it cheaply enough that poor villages and organizations can buy them. It's a big challenge, but he says that's the way he likes it.
I have a simple strategy. I only work on important problems. Life is short, and I learned as a kid that I work hard at anything I do. There's no point in working hard at the ones that will get solved anyway. There's no point in working hard at something that even if I succeed, it didn't matter much. Life is short, make every day count, pick the really important problems and work on those.
Why are you trying to change the world?
I think everybody's trying to change the world. We can't help impacting the world we live in. I just want to make sure that in the end I leave it a better place than I found it.
When World Report continues, an in-depth look at Dean Kamen's high school robotics program.